Hey everybody, welcome back. This is X's for Show, and we are here to talk about the RuPaul-A-Paruza season 18. I'm kind of sitting in the middle on it overall. I kind of think this was a little expected, a little bit not. I agree with some of the matches. What are you guys thinking? What are your opening thoughts? Salvo us in, TK.
Yeah, I am TK. This sits solidly in the middle for me. Not a bad one at all. Not an amazing one. I really immediately want to give a shout out to the fact that they bold-facedly said, because we don't have to pay for any of the songs. I'll get into that more later, but I did like that was just said right off the bat.
I thought it was a really good, fun time. RuPaul's got a good discography. They're not the most talented lyrically and vocally, but they're a good time. They're good party mixes, and they're good to, like, if you want to feel good and you want to feel your puss deep down in your soul. So I love that they just did it, to RuPaul. It could have been a lot worse. They could have chosen a lot more, not the good songs. They chose the ones that I think Ru loves, and we got, the classic ones. I am surprised no Supermodel, but that's me. That's me. For me, that's a song I expected. But the only thing really missing from this RuPaul-A-Paruza was sort of a big shocker. In season 16, we had Megami, who kind of blew people out of the water with the way that she was able to do comedic lip syncing and kind of destroyed a lot of the really talented traditionally talented lip syncers on 16. You had 17, where Susie 2 came back with the Tootin' and Vengeance and demolished 3 lip syncs in 3 different styles. And this, we didn't really get anything too unexpected, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I guess we were just missing a big shock outside of maybe the first lip sync winner.
Jonah, I totally love that. Tori, KEVO, what do you guys think? How are you feeling overall, just opening salvo? Because we're going to get into the individual everything.
Yeah, I was really excited by the way they broke down the bracket of how they were going to do each round. While I think that it kept us from having, so many exciting moments from Juicy, I think it eventually kind of felt really smooth of a process and kind of made a little more sense. But I think it was really fun. I think our lip sync songs have been a little up and down this season, and these were all kind of bangers. So I was really excited to watch the gals get to do high energy, fun lip sync.
I was excited at first. The thing about all RuPaul-A-Paruza is at first I was excited because, that sounds like a really interesting concept. And then it sort of started to sink in that it was going to all be RuPaul music. And so it's all the songs that we hear all the time. And the novelty kind of came and went throughout the actual process. But overall, I ultimately really enjoyed it. There's a lot of these songs that I know I hear a million times, but I don't listen to them as much. So I don't know the names. So I was like, I did know that song. That's interesting. But yeah, it was a really interesting gimmick. I like the idea of a gimmick for a RuPaul-A-Paruza. If we ever can have another Christmas special, Christmas RuPaul-A-Paruza would be a lot of fun. Stuff like that, I think, would be great. So for that, I think this worked really well.
I loved hearing all of that. And so I'm NICO. Let's get into it. This is a RuPaul-A-Paruza with a lot of emotional stakes here on the line. I don't know that every girl saw Jane going home, or not going home for that matter, from their angle. But at a certain point, girl after girl saw Jane not go home. And then to see Jane in the RuPaul-A-Paruza girl mix, I think to see that it's Nene and Mikey who, and I mean this with a positive love, there are just some action figures that have the same mold and you just kind of custom paint and sculpt slightly. And they do have, they're completely their own queens, but there doesn't feel like a huge diversity of physicality in the girls here in some ways. And so I am really excited to see how this is going to obviously Darlene's 9 feet tall, but I'm really excited see how this emotional energy shakes out with these girls. And then the only thing we really get is Jane having the same manic fit we saw her have, which I actually loved this, where Jane was just flat out like, okay, so was it sabotage or not? And I'm going to say, I don't think it, even with the answer and everything that happened, I don't think it was sabotage. I think there's a certain way to play a game. And like, if Sierra wants to make it really tough for another girl to unlock her secrets, if she were a magician, we would be like, she must be really powerful. But she's a drag queen, so we're like, she's sneaky. I don't think that's an appropriate switch.
Well, and the best part was Sierra was like, well, you chose my fabric, and did you not win? So you were able to make something out of it. So I'm right, you can make something out of it. I just had a better idea than you would have from the start.
I understand why Jane don't wanted to have the conversation or confrontation. I think that Sierra decided to make it a very munchable moment, as opposed to just being like, it's a competition, girl, and like kept it moving. So I was just a little like, okay, ladies, keep having your moment. It's fine. I was just a little disappointed. I wanted a little more fun and joy out of it, as opposed to this weird fighty moment for no reason.
I think we would get more fun moments if there was an actual reunion, but now we kind of have to use this as the sub reunion, and so all the drama has to come out here because it's not going to come up in the finale, so they have to wrap up with things that people want to talk about. I agree. I think having more kiki moments would have been great, and I think the person who used our time the best this episode was Jane Doe.
Well, and it's unfortunate because there's no Untucked this episode. So they could have spared the half hour to just essentially do the reunion, because to both of your points, yeah, there's not a lot of time to talk. And like the big thing we miss is, at what point did everybody get in a room together and all the other girls went, wait, the top three are Mikey,
that was my
Mimi,
opening point.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
We don't get to see them look around the room and go, wait, it's you three?
Again, not shade. I think all three.
No, I'm being shady. I'll say, like, it could be a little bit like not all of those girls are going to be saying that from a non-shady place. And like, God love her, I'm not God. Darlene absolutely is at the top of that list of like, wait, you're in the top 3 for this season, and like point to a bunch of queens, they're not. I would say that very shadily, and I think it would be funny. And it doesn't matter because she is in the top 3, so like she's already on top. It's fine. We can joke a little bit. Yeah, we didn't get any of those moments there. I mean, there's a bunch more stuff that you could get into. They kind of really quickly are like, oh, Athena being like, I know we had our fights, but I love you, Briar Blush, and I hope you don't die of sepsis. Which that's so sweet. That's what a great thing. What a way to mend the fence. But I feel like if we'd had a solid half hour of an Untucked style, like, yeah, you guys can all just talk, you should get this all out, we could have had some fun. Most of our previous weeks devouring the show include that extra half hour, so why not use it? And then we wouldn't have had to have kind of like, oh, it's just one silly moment about this fabric suitcase, which is also confused by the fact that like they seem to be editing or talking around the fact that producers told them something. They were given information about the suitcase. It's not clear who was told what and if everybody got the same information, but it sort of makes the fight sillier to me because I'm like, I don't actually know what any of you were told. And so because I think it is entirely possible they were all told this suitcase is for you, period. And we might do other stuff with it, but you should pack it like it's for you, in which case Sierra's fine. But if she was told specifically it's never going to be for you, then yeah, it was probably sabotage. Who knows? We'll never know because they edit around it or they talk about it weirdly. Yeah. It's just a silly use of the time.
And we also, in the original episode, we watched Juicy be like, I'm avoiding Athena's because I know she packed nothing. Bye! Like, we have someone else in the room who we know did try for sabotage. So it's an interesting choice that's the A plot of the first half.
I really wonder if part of why Untucked didn't give its time to this is because of the re-airing blocks and how carefully structured out that is, and that would add a half an hour to every time they reran this episode. And so that would change what they do, because they don't run Untucked directly after Drag Race when they show Drag Race at 5 or 7. And so I think it had to do with Cindy Block logic, right?
I mean, I even still, I might have still done an episode of Untucked called Untucked the Reunion or something.
I would love that. Yeah.
Like I said, we're used to that half hour being part of Drag Race programming, even if, as you mentioned, the episode can't extend the half hour. I would have build another hour of Untucked and just done. Everybody misses the reunions. It is one of those things where it's just kind of the enshittification of the Drag Race product. They were like, oh, we can take away this one thing that everybody liked, and nobody's not going to watch the finale because we're not doing a reunion. Like, everybody's still going to show up. We're just cutting out this one thing that we don't feel like doing. And what's anybody going to do about it? Like, make their own and compete against us? No, they're just going to keep watching the show.
I wonder if they just felt they couldn't compete against social media anymore. What does the reunion reveal that we don't get from Roscoe's in the weeks leading up to it, that we don't get from the girls appearing at other shows and it going up on YouTube? I think the ongoing success of the girls eats the reunion.
It's a very valid hypothesis. I still think there's value to them all being in a room together.
Oh, yeah.
Organized by World of Wonder. And yeah, I mean, like, in terms of their cost of doing business, you might be entirely right. But again, it's just like you're giving us less product now with no explanation. You didn't give us anything better. You didn't do anything more enhanced because there's no reunion. You just started doing seasons with no reunion. That's great for your bottom line, but for my bottom line as a viewer, I just got less every time I tuned in to this show.
Well, let's talk about the more. Let's talk about the actual matchups. And this is so tough because, like, first of all, I think we all know most of a RuPaul song, like KEVO was saying. And some of us probably know all of some RuPaul songs. I agree with Jonah. Supermodel not being here was kind of odd, but then I wonder if maybe somebody else owned the rights to it.
Tommy Boy owns that album.
Yeah.
And I would imagine they own specifically Supermodel. We never see Supermodel. And that's why. Rhino did the reissue for that and for Ru's next album, and then basically everyone after that and everyone that has the song that was used is on RuCo.
Yeah.
Come on, RuPaul. Let's get RuPaul's version of these things.
Yeah.
Make your own masters.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It actually just depends who owns the song rights themselves, not just the masters, but if she can get her hands on it.
There is another writing credit on it. She has a writing credit on it, but there is another writing credit on it. And again, it's Tommy Boy in 1993 or 94.
And
like,
let's not forget, she could have signed away the rights to it forever ago, not realizing or maybe never owned them, even if she had the songwriting credit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, all right, let's start with lip sync number 1. We've got Sierra Mist versus my precious Athena. I personally, watching it, thought Athena did win. I thought this was like a hands down no-brainer. If for no other reason, I have never seen someone struggle so hard. I mean, that was the second worst disaster. That was the worst disaster on a Drag Race stage that didn't involve butterflies. I just don't know what else to say. It was embarrassing, and for her, like, I felt embarrassed. I felt bad. I love her, and I don't think that was fair. But I don't think that meant she should win.
Yeah, I mean, she shouldn't get it as a consolation prize. It was a reveal into something that I thought was ugly. It didn't work at all. So I was saying earlier, like, I really loved that they started the episode with the blind, the bold assertion that it's all RuPaul songs because we don't have to pay for them. Like, just the kind of like cheekiest look behind the curtain of like, yeah, we didn't want to pay for a bunch of Lady Gaga songs that are really expensive, and I have this whole back catalog. We didn't want to pay for it. This exact base. I thought that was so fun. And then we got to the end of this lip sync and Athena didn't win. And now I'm starting to feel like this show is some kind of psyop or a test to see what they can do to our brains, because it is just this constant like pushing of bold-faced reality and then also just like complete lies about what's going on here. Like Michelle just being like, you two people who have the same face and did exactly what Sugar and Spice did do not look related. You two who vaguely are wearing mini skirts at the same time look like you came from the exact same zygote. We have moments like this where it's just like there is this clear winner who did smooth all the way through the song. It's also much more of an Athena song. This is an old lady song, and Athena played it like an old lady rock star, somebody who was doing hair metal in the 80s who like grew into a later 90s, early 2000s rock star, which by the way, an identity way too old for Athena, but she still nails it. And Sierra, I don't have anything good to say about this performance at all. I think she has a lot of heart and talent and a wheelhouse that really works for her. I don't see a lot of it on Drag Race. I see a lot of promise of it, but I don't see a lot of it here. I think she just so obviously didn't win. And it really felt like Ru being like, I cannot stress enough how much fuck you, I do whatever I want.
I really feel like this is one of those things that truly draws your attention to the scripted entertainment nature of something like this. And it doesn't make it bad or awful to watch, but it's something like this where it's kind of glaring. In the first place, without getting to it too quickly, but I feel like the final lip sync was set from the beginning. So everything else was just kind of how do we make the rest of this entertaining? What's the most entertaining outcome of this first one? Sierra, who went home early, getting this confidence boost, and Athena, who people enjoy seeing getting her got. So that is part of what it felt like, and it feels like the wardrobe malfunction drew extra attention to that, because if that was the decision, it was the decision whether she had that fumble or not. I didn't feel like it was a consolation. I felt like that was a speed bump against an inevitable conclusion.
I felt very much they covered up as much of the issue of the change as they could. I think Athena gave a very smooth, very calm performance of someone who was just like, I'm going to have a fun first round, and then I'll probably get out in the second, and that's fine. And she wasn't really gunning for the high prize. But I do think she won this. I also think it was very strange for Sierra to come in something that was not just built for one song in particular, but was so cumbersome and specific for this. It's very interesting that she made that choice. I
do want to give her huge credit. The prosthetic boob blending. I literally stopped and
Unreal.
I had a note. I was going to message you first, Tori, and be like, "Is she trans?" And they didn't say anything.
Do you know? I literally, like, as they went to turn it, I was like, "Oh wow, we didn't have any dolls this season. That's so crazy." And then Ciara pulls this off, and I go, "Oh, does Ciara go through some life changes? Like, what's going on here?" And then I was like, "No, something about this is not quite that." So
I'm gonna respectfully not zoom.
Yes, gonna respectfully not zoom, but it is excellent.
Truly excellent.
And truly excellent work. I mean, NICO is my new favorite. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this person who's just like, "Can we talk about your tits? We know they're not real. Can you tell us more about your beautiful not real tits?" And I'm just like, "Thank you, Nini Coco," because those are the questions that I too had.
I desperately needed to know, and I'm so impressed because I love a breastplate that is properly covering its points of articulation, but that was just next level. So I crap on Sierra Mist a lot, and I don't feel bad about it, but I do also really want to give her props because this is a once in a Drag Race lifetime introduction to this way of doing it, and I'm sure other queens have, but I'm just so impressed.
And I also will say, like, even though it took her forever, that if that reveal had gone well, like the idea of taking off that whole helmet and having the cunty little ponytail of just whoosh, off of the dress, and suddenly it's you down there, like there was a lot where if this had gone perfectly, I actually honestly probably would have been quite gagged.
I can really see that. And so let's do a final vote on this one. Do we agree? Thumbs up, agree. Thumbs down, don't agree.
Sorry, Sierra, we love you.
Sorry.
But
yeah, not the one. All right, Kevo, can you bring up our board so we can see our next matchup?
Ooh.
Lip sync number 2, which is Just What They Want with Mia Starr and Mandy Mango. this was a great lip sync. I thought this was unbearably close. If I did have a conspiracy theory, it's that they wanted Jane and Sierra on stage together longer, and they wanted Briar and Athena backstage together longer. And I think that might have been the plan there. But Mia coming in second to face Mandy. I feel bad. Mia's so talented. I hated to see Mandy go. She's so great too. And she should have won that lip sync. And that, not this one, that one. And I thought this was a great number. Just obvious winner for me.
I thought the conspiracy was, you were going to say the conspiracy was they wanted Mia to face off against Juicy to get the trifecta of girls from the house lip syncing against each other. That said, I do still think it was very close, and I would not have been upset if Mandy had won, but I thought it was fine that Mia won. What I will say here is where I started to notice Mia doesn't do tricks.
No, Mia does not.
Well, to be fair to Mia, she is 40.
Well, so that was my question. I mean, like, I'm not complaining. For somebody who does not do tricks, she's an incredible dancer, but it just sort of does go to show that being a professional dancer and being an incredibly talented dancer is not the same as performing as a drag queen. Because Mia is, again, has a career as a dancer that sort of eclipses what a lot of people in entertainment will ever get to do in their careers dancing. She has danced with the most famous people in the world, so she's clearly talented. But what I realized here, she kind of doesn't dance like we expect drag queens to dance, and that sort of got me into her in a new way. But then, of course, made me worry about the fact that, like, if she doesn't throw us a couple of shablams or splits, RuPaul's gonna not give her the win. And I do think here I started to be like, okay, it kind of doesn't matter how far she goes. If she gets up against Juicy will do tricks, and Mia's not doing it.
I thought it was a great lip sync. I really enjoyed it. I thought both girls turned it out. Very wordy song that they both knew the words to quite well, so that's really impressive. And I think Mandy should be extremely proud. She's somebody who I'm super excited to see with just like a year or two more baking and like working on her performance and dance ability, because she has so much of it. She just needs like a diamond, just a little bit of refinement. But I think she's a diamond in the rough, and I think she's somebody who invests now to get your Mandy stonks later.
She looked even better here. She looked like a great better than she did when she left the show, coming back for this lip sync.
When I saw her a month ago in Philly at Frankie Bradley's, she looked even better.
Yeah, like this is definitely a queen that is just there's no way to go but up. I think there was a point when Mia started throwing money where I was like, is Mia throwing this lip sync? I was like, she's not throwing it because she's still giving it her all. But I was like, this feels like a Thorgy holding up Chi-Chi's hand moment of just being like, let the girl go through. That was kind of interesting for me. I noticed that we didn't get Mandy's departing line.
Yes, thank you.
They cut that. She's the only one that they cut. I don't know any particular reason
why.
Hope it
wasn't something racist.
Well, they wanted the surprise of Mandy surprising the girls backstage and surprising the audience too. And I was expecting them to do that at least with one other girl then, and they didn't. So that is more where I am gagged than anything else. If it had been at least two, sure, but only Mandy, that feels weird.
Only Mandy is very weird.
I think part of that was because it was the most close between the two of them. And I don't think any other lip sync was as close until we got to the final lip sync.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree to that. I think it's a shame to deprive Mandy of a moment, but maybe it was a sadder moment, and so they decided it didn't tonally fit. But I think Mandy crushed this. I think her booking fees will be just fine. I think she is showing herself to be someone who is going to come back and really be a force to reckon with.
So let's do it. Vote. Do you think the right person won?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna give it to Mandy. I liked her.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could have seen this going either way, but we knew where this was going.
I get why it happened,
Yes.
but I'm still going to give Mandy my vote.
Mm-hmm.
Vita and Dee.
Dee.
Mm-hmm.
This made no real impact on me, but not because either one of the girls isn't great, not because the song isn't great, because this just wasn't like the verses I was living for, I guess. This was two girls that I don't remember having like chemistry or energy or scenes together, and I didn't feel any real connection to this. This was a great number where the girls did great, and I do mostly agree with the winner, but I just kind of felt like this is the other thing that happens. Yes, it's amazing that Dee Dee gets another episode, but I feel like I don't know Dee Dee. And so that she's here, it's not that she's not doing a great job, it's that she's done a disservice by the function she's serving here as first out in.
I mean, I think the best you can hope for is that Megami wasn't the first out, but that you pull a Megami and surprise everybody and just do better. And so that could have happened to Dee Dee, but if it wasn't going to, then there really wasn't. Exactly. There's nowhere for her to go because we don't know her at all. I will say, I thought she looked so beautiful when she went into the red wig. I felt like I saw a new side of her.
Yes.
That I was just like, I was a little enamored where before didn't have a ton of time with her, but I hadn't seen anything that made me think like I'm just really in love. Vita is so clearly talented and so cool, and I'm so interested in her career, but she is not a great Drag Race contestant.
No.
And it just like and again, that is okay. Kenya, who is going to rule the world one day, is not a great Drag Race contestant. I don't mean that as an insult. And she looked gorgeous. Her looks this whole season were so cool. That's the thing that she's really great at, that is part of Drag Race, but there's more to it than that. I mean, like, she won, I think, but also like this was not, I didn't carry a ton away from this lip sync. And I just like, the only thing that the big thing I took away from it is like, I'm going to keep watching for other things that Vita is doing that are not this show, because I do think she's excellent. I just think her talents aren't best showcased.
Last season was Ethan. This season is Q. Next season, Vita on Project Runway.
Truly, that would make me so happy. That is a yes, 100%.
Did anybody vibe harder on these girls? Am I the only one? I mean, TK already backed me up, but did anybody have anything to add to this lip sync before we vote?
You know, I feel like if anything, unfortunately, the more of Didi Fuego that I was shown was the same Didi Fuego. I feel like this look being the tool and this hat and pulling pieces off of it is kind of the same as the look that she was eliminated on. And, you know, I loved a lot of the energy that I got to pick up on her giving. Her toast in the workroom and the way that she gassed up all the other girls was great. But yeah, I wish I could have seen more from her. It's okay.
Yeah, I definitely understood that, she was going for the reference back to how she got out. I think she, we talk a lot about gals who go through their reveals really fast and really early. Hormona Lisa did that last season. And I think Dee Dee actually didn't reveal soon enough. And I would have gotten out of that thing a lot sooner.
Good note.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's put it to a vote. Do we think the right girl won or not?
Vita, Vita, Vita.
You know you want to eat a.
We have lip sync number 4, which is Vita versus Mia and Call Me Mother. You know, this just didn't feel like two girls competing in the same situation. Vita literally in her entrance video said, I am more of like a stand on the stage and entertain than dance and shablam kind of girl. And even though we've already kind of covered that Mia doesn't shablam, she moves and she dances and she's got a power and she's got this incredible thing. It's like Mandy Mango has this like mechanical movement she can do. Mia, everything she does explodes at the end. And Vita just doesn't have that.
I think the thing with Vita is I can see her coming out in a number that is the show, like coming out to do a lip sync to this song in a look that, you know, has pieces to tear away, has a whole concept to it. And the whole number is just Vita giving her style. and could have absolutely owned this song. And I would have loved that show. Like if she came out and did that, I would be like, man, Vita's great. But this is a very specific competition. And I was so stoked that she got on the floor and did floor work. Like she really gave it her all. It just, what RuPaul wanted to see for this song is exactly what Mia did. And it was just kind of being cunty and moving around the stage and giving us a little bit of this. And even though what Vita gave was nothing to sneeze at, and I think absolutely works as a product that I would buy at a bar and would be giving my dollars to, she wasn't going to win the competition for this. She wasn't going to win this challenge, and bummer, but like somebody's got to lose. So
I think they both did the best that they could with the song. It's a great song. It's just not the most. It's a really good song for like the bar, but you're not doing too much to the song.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I think I agree with TK. Like this, there's a version of this that Vita can do, but if you're trying to beat Mia at this game, it's not going to go easily for a queen with Vita's skill sets.
Winner correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so let's go to our next matchup, which is going to be Sierra versus Kenya on Pretty Gang. End of story. No matter what, Kenya knows how to fill a moment. And there is no I am here to defy expectations that Sierra could have pulled off. Like, the premise was bad. The premise of this, I'm going to show that I can do something you don't expect by hitting a rap against Kenya. The instincts were not right here. The work was great. But it kind of felt like the right answer to the wrong question.
I thought Sierra beat Kenya. That's a personal opinion. I don't think Sierra won against Athena. I think Sierra beat Kenya. That is my out there take. That's going to be the make or break for my parlay. But this is, for me, I think Kenya crushed it. Am I mad that Kenya won? No, I agree with it. But I think that Sierra gave something that was so high energy and so charming to watch. I fully admit that I spent a lot of this being like, Kenya's doing some wonderful tricks, but I've yet to figure out if she can say the words. And so I don't know how this is going to go until I can figure that out. And I think that kind of kept me from fully enjoying Kenya in the moment as the audience was.
Like, so many greats in their field, and like everybody really should be when it comes to the idea of competition. Kenya is only competing against herself. And Kenya only fails when Kenya fails to live up to Kenya's potential. In a situation like this, where also there is technically, a camera and she technically is competing against someone else, it's amazing what she can do. But what you can also, Tori, notice that she's not maybe doing great. She could be doing better. And you can sort of notice that her opponent is doing those things better. And yet, sort of what happens is you get drawn into Kenya's world and you lose sort of everything but sight of her. And it is the constant thing with the lip syncs. Like, that's just her problem. She just has to figure out how to get the words right. That is not like, and that's not like a, unless you're Coco Montrese really going for it. Like, we're not looking for an insane level of skill here. You just got to figure it out, and you just got to figure out how to know the words and get the lip sync out. Like, you're just competing with yourself on that. And so when she fails, I'm not like, oh, Kenya's not up to the other girl's par. I'm like, she didn't figure this out for herself. All of that said, I still remain captivated by her, and I just kind of forgot that Sierra was there. And I think that person winds up being the winner, even if you could objectively like score this and say like Sierra did more better stuff.
I'm only ever confused because, and this is not shade to Sierra in any way, shape, or form, but I'm not sure why she got the push forward. I don't know if they felt like they maybe did her dirty at some point, so they have to like give her a little something, but it just felt a little weird because I don't know if she necessarily needed it. This wasn't like the most fantastic lip sync that I'm like, thank God. She's not, her lip syncing abilities aren't akin to like Megami, who had a similar placement and then to be eliminated at the, to come back and showcase. Maybe they were hoping for that. I don't necessarily know. But this was a fine lip sync.
It is for that reason. I'm going to say, are we ready to vote? Correct winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
You know,
You don't have to change your vote.
I mean, it's just I don't disagree with it, and like it for many reasons. But if I had been there, I would have been like, RuPaul, Sierra did so well.
I would love to talk about the back-to-back Janes. I think Discord versus Jane, Sissy That Walk, what a brilliant joke. I think Jane, Juicy, Cha-Cha Bitch, what a daring choice. I do think Jane's trajectory in these instances were correct. I think Jane showed so much character and humor when she went and like indicated her horror at Juicy's excellence. I think I wouldn't have been able to tell what the fuck Discord was saying no matter what in that hat. I would never be able to say what she's saying. It wouldn't make a difference. It wouldn't matter. And Jane gave quite a season, and I hope she doesn't come back to do All Stars and instead is just wildly successful on her own.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, I did not feel like Jane was walking away with the crown. She already had hers as crown. I would have loved to have seen it. I just felt like it's probably not happening. Like, just realistically,
you can only put so many Angela Lansbury songs in one Lollapalooza.
Not a matter of deserve. I felt like it wasn't really coming. Honestly, part of me really was like, is RuPaul gonna like have her come back and be like, I made a mistake earlier in the season and you are going to be in the film? That was like, that to me was more
that was more likely.
Whoopsie doodles.
I really did have a moment at the end where I was like, she could still call Jane back in, but I didn't think there was any way from the beginning that Jane was winning the Lollapalooza.
But I know, and she knows that RuPaul gave her the funniest opportunity to do something.
And she did.
And she absolutely took it. And it was hysterical and perfect. And
as she said, she came here to do one thing, make them laugh. And she did it. She made me laugh the entire time. And it was basically the only time any of us did, I think. So I just love her forever.
Yeah, I think Jane's performances in both of these just encompass a lot of who she is, which is she can crush when she goes for comedy stuff, and she can kind of hold her own energy wise against someone like Juicy. And at that point, it just comes down to the athleticism of the person you're up against. I think Discord was a really good sport. I got a feeling Discord probably also wanted that song, if I had to guess. If she was smart.
Yes.
Yes. I think so. And I think it kind of worked out best possible option for her to have a comedic foe on that song, as opposed to seeing perhaps even a Mia on that song or somebody else. So I think that was really fun, and I had a really huge reaction to how Juicy got out of her reveal. I was
perfection.
Stunned.
Really
stunned.
I will say that would be my basement for this is how you're allowed to have a look that is clearly a reveal and is very, very ugly on your body when you walk out, and then have the reveal happen. Anything worse than this, you can't be like, you have to be in some way disqualified, or RuPaul has to say something or make fun of you. You can't be allowed to just go on and have it happen. You can't walk out in a trash bag and then cut the trash bag open and be like, can you believe what I did here? It was just, you could so see the places where it was like meant to tear away, and it was just so hideous on her. This is so ugly on her. So this is my basement. But I will say, yeah, as Athena said, she made history. Nobody has ever gotten out of a reveal like that, and I don't think anybody ever will again. It truly was impressive. She is fantastic. But let's stop ugly overcoats.
Yeah. And the joy that she brought too.
Yeah, she was feeling it.
The walk thing, obviously very funny. I would have liked to have seen Discord got to do a little bit better, see a little bit more from her. It's maybe one of the drawbacks of this style of bracketing, but that's okay. And then obviously, Cha Cha, we knew where it was going to go. But yeah, this, as they even specifically said, this is kind of a landmark moment, and it was really cool to get something this inventive on Lollapalooza.
Final vote on Jane's double back-to-back trajectory.
Well, win
and then a loss.
Win, and then we get it.
And then Juicy.
I mean, thumbs up to both of them. The right call was made. I'm sad that
Yeah.
Jane didn't get to stay. But
Yes.
All right. The Mia back-to-back finale where and this is where I think so Mia versus Kenya on peanut butter was hey Tracy loved Dion. That was so
it was a great one.
She is funny.
I think we find ourselves in a position where Ru is so here to reward your silly, is so here to reward like being over the top, and some of Kenya's bit here is just being outrageous and silly, and Mia was moving the entire time. And Kenya sort of seemed to at one point like lose control of her body and was just kind of like moving to win, and it's an impossible win. And I think this was very correct, and I think Kenya did an incredible job and would have beat anybody else, but Mia just had the moment. And then I just think the finale was very even, but it goes to Juicy.
Kenya wouldn't have beat Juicy on this song.
No.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, Kenya was competing against herself here. She was trying to one up her level of doing lip syncs, which she has been doing well in all season. And she just sort of hit a little bit of a wall with this song and with the energy. And again, we've seen Kenya lip sync a lot on this season of Drag Race. So at this point, it's going to take a lot to surprise or impress any of us. And she didn't do anything bad, but she didn't do anything amazing. And Mia, I kind of would say the same thing, except Mia just is at a level as a performer. And maybe it's an unfair advantage because, again, having to do this on stage with Jennifer Lopez and Britney Spears puts you in a different mindset when you are entertaining on a stage like this. But as you said, she kept moving the whole time. Like, she was completely in control. And peanut butter can be silly, but it can also go hard as fuck. And RuPaul does not mind if you don't make it silly. We have seen the dancers, the backup dancers, come on and just go nuts on peanut butter, and they're not joking at all. And there's nothing funny about the performance. And I don't think Mia had a lot of silliness here, but I think she had all the right energy and all the stuff that Ru wanted to see. And Kenya just kind of didn't have this one worked out for herself yet. Not the end of the world. Still an amazing performer. Still get faces like this and think she's the funniest person.
Well, KEVO going to that gagged face. It's truly really something else.
Kenya's great. Like I said, she's going to take over the world one day. And she is only competing against herself. And I cannot wait to see her keep besting herself.
Kenya versus Mia, I love peanut butter. It's such a silly, dumb song, but it's so right. Must be jelly because jam don't shake. Shakespeare couldn't even have wrote that. So it's a great lip sync. I'm never trying to dogpile on a girl. I was trying to notice how well Kenya knew words, and it seemed like they were doing a lot to obfuscate whether she did or did not. So I'm going to choose on the side of positivity that she did a lot better knowing her words. Take that for what you will. It was great. And then I think this is what I was saying, this finale between these two, nobody was this wasn't unexpected in any way, shape, or form. These are two of the probably best dancers, performers that the show has for this season in terms of lip syncing and dancing on the stage. So I wasn't really anything out of the ordinary expecting anything else but this. But they did fantastic. I love that Juicy loves the Slave For You choreo so much that she keeps bringing it back. It didn't work. It didn't hit the same beats as it did when she was doing Houdini, because Houdini and Slave For You have like the same beat count. This doesn't, but it was still fantastic. She's still an absolutely phenomenal lip syncer. and I could not have been more like proud of someone to do something so well. And she, you know, South Florida, keep winning.
I really enjoyed Kenya versus Mia. This was one where I noticed that Mia was trying to do a thing during the Big Frida and RuPaul like call-in responses to try to do like one and the other, and Kenya was pointing but saying all of the words. And so I was like, all right, she wants to make sure that we know that she does know all of these words. And I did find that to be very playful, and Mia tried a couple of times to kind of bring her into that, which I really enjoyed. I think Peanut Butter was really high energy, really fun. I'm glad we got really great lip syncs and great outstanding lip syncers as we got closer and closer to the end. It did not feel like there was really anyone who was gonna do really poorly. You know, Jane Don't is not an athletic lip syncer, but she does bring such high energy and such comedic talent that it's sort of still going to be fun no matter what. And I hear, pray tell, that they filmed both of them winning. She done already had hers is.
You know, I enjoy Peanut Butter for what it is. It's the way that these laid out is really interesting. I might have to listen to the songs in this sequence again as a playlist just to see how I feel about it. And then obviously the final song was always going to be Cover Girl. And again, I think this, to take it back to what I said at the top of the episode, and all RuPaul-A-Paruza sounds like a good idea until you're in it, and then you're not sure. But ultimately, by the end, this was such a fun experiment, such a fun experience. They did such a great job. The performance on this really is worthy of being a lip sync of this song that people will go to in the future. They both did such a great job. And, you know, we kind of needed to see this showdown after they tied. I forgot they had tied, as Juicy pointed out, but that is a huge part of why this was inevitable. We needed to see, we needed to find out, and obviously it's Juicy. She did a great job. Our little Georges 2.0, God bless her.
Florida Georges.
Georges.
So let's do our vote. Do we think that the lip syncs went the way that were correct? Vote 1.
Yep.
Vote 2.
Yeah, double thumbs up. Boop, boop.
I love it. It really seems like the one place we really thought went a little bit off the rails was Athena. But let's do an exciting thing. We have our finale next week. Can't wait to talk about it with you guys. Can't wait to cover it and have a great time. The format, I don't know, maybe there'll be original songs. The description specifically says performances and lip syncs, which makes me think that it is two different things, but I don't want to get too excited about having an original song. So I want to know, what are you hoping for? Who do you hope wins? And where we can find you. Tori, tell me.
You can find me online at smtori. That's Tori with an I. Who do I think Miki. I think Miss Mikey is gonna win. Miss Mikey Meeks is gonna win. But I don't know, you guys. I think Darlene could take it. There's something about Darlene to me, but I think this is Mikey's to win. Yeah, I think we're probably going to get an original song out of each girl, and then one of them's going to get scooted home, like Plain Jane, and then the last two will duke it out.
You can find me online at Peak Jonah. I think we're going to get 3 original songs. Someone will get cut, and then it'll be a top 2 lip sync, like they did a la season 16. In my heart, I'm happy and love all 3 of these winners. But if I had to pick one, Dark Horse, who everybody has been counting out, I think Nini's going to win. I want Nini to win. Us engineers have to stick together. So, you know what?
I wouldn't be mad.
I love that. And I love how brave you were to say that it's occupation based. No, I agree with you. Nini is so great. And I love that. KEVO, producer KEVO, who makes this whole thing click and tick. Tell me, who's your pick? What format do you hope for, and where can everybody find you?
You know, this is a really tough one because, you know, when you said original song, I was like, oh no, I am not sure that I can necessarily see an original song from this top 3. This just feels like an odd group to be getting a collection of 3 songs from. I see them all much more as dancers, so I feel like I would expect the emphasis to be much more on performance, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get a classic same track where they each get a verse. That would be very interesting.
No, Nini's needs to be like, I hope I don't bug you. Like, Nini's needs to be like,
what
so
is
bug-related.
this? Listen, Nini, I know that we're in love and everything, but like, what is with the bug stuff all the time, my darling?
I think she's a drag bug. I don't think she's a girl. I think this is a drag bug trying to be a ladybug.
Maya the Bee. You know, obviously, I am going to say Nini Coco. King Matt TV was like the 5th person to call me out on the fact that Nini Coco looks like Whitaker from The Pit. So, shut up, leave me alone. 2 finales next week. That's exciting.
TK, format winner, find you.
As everybody else has said, I think we're getting 3 original numbers. I imagine Darlene will be eliminated because I love you very much, Darlene, but you actually do not deserve to win. And then we will be left with Nini or Mikey. I like a bunch of people in this crowd. I would love to see it go to Nini. I can see why it would be Mikey, and I won't be bummed either way. I've connected with Nini the whole time, and I've been sort of bewildered by this storyline that she is like not accessible, or that she's like reading the girls too meanly. I don't know. I didn't really see that. I feel like we've seen so many meaner, like not connecting with the girls people, and I felt like we've been connecting with her as an audience. I don't know. Mikey's still great. Don't get me wrong. Mikey isn't doing anything wrong. I just think Nini is really cool and fantastic, and either way, I'll be very happy. But sadly, it is still not RuPaul's School for Girls. So, Darlene, I'm not going to be able to have you in the final 2, I think. Anyway, you can find me at TK Accidental. Nico, what are your thoughts?
All right. So I'm going to say I either want it to go to Darlene because she busts out the most incredible operatic voice you've ever heard, or she does some kind of unreal soliloquy she can paint with her eyes closed. I don't care. She blows you away. Or I want it to be the first ever main series tie between Mikey and Nini, because you know what? Why not? Break the magic spell here. Make it that there's crowns for everybody, and there aren't. But it could go to these 2 because they've had a pretty even season. As far as the modality, I want to hear original voices. I want to hear your voice. I think the only person who didn't sing on 15 was Anitra. I want your voice on the track. So I know I'm asking for a lot, but then it would just kind of go to Mikey. So then anyway, you guys should come check out everything we do. We love making this show for you guys. We here at X's for Show on YouTube, at HTML, X's for Comics, and more on your podcast feeds. Check those out, like the Billy Club, our new Daredevil podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe because we want to hear from you and know what to cover in the future. I forgot to spell my name. You guys can check me out at NICO Action, NICOACTION, or the music in the background at NICO Action Music, NICOACTION MUSIC. Like, comment, and subscribe. And then 3 things you guys can do for yourselves. Number 1, stay safe. Number 2, be brave. And number 3, evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, amazing. Who you are today, that's a finalist, but it's who you are tomorrow that's going to snatch that crown. So remember, until then, you are the crown. Be the crown.
Bye.